So I have a couple messages. All right. Generational curse breaker, i.e., you're a disappointment. So not too long ago, I was told I was a disappointment from my Faja. But yeah, he couldn't tell me why I was a disappointment. Make that make sense. And then later on in the evening, he retracted it and said, it's not that I meant that you were a disappointment. I'm a disappointment in my parenting because I didn't discipline and this and that. I'm like, well, I recall you disciplining me when I was a young child. Okay, I remember you getting spanked and stuff. I was disciplined. So, not sure what you're thinking about, but circle back. But I say this because in that statement, I would never say that to my son. Does my son do things that disappoint me? Absolutely. But I would never tell him he's a disappointment. Never in my life. First of all, if your kids are a disappointment, you need to ask yourself, what am I doing wrong as a parent? Just saying. But a lot of the times, what you find in these generational curses, that a lot are carried in my family. But I am breaking them one by one. Because I will not do that. I will not do that. I do not operate in that. I'm more than willing to take accountability. And I've taken countless accountability with my son. And he deserves it. He deserved it. And there's a lot of accountability that I deserve that people refuse to give me, which is fine. I don't need it. I don't need it. But I dang sure ain't going to take people's projections or deflections. Okay? And that's where we have to get at in your point, in your walk, is if people are deflecting, if they're manipulating, if they're gaslighting, and you're the problem, but they've done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. It takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. Now, do I know? Absolutely. Have I been perfect? No. Have I had unfavorable seasons? Absolutely. But have I had mountains of players and strategic events in my life to hold me back throughout my entire life? Absolutely. Just ask those that have played their part. Just ask them. They'll tell you. They'll tell you. They'll probably dance around it. They'll deflect. They'll manipulate. They'll say it's all my fault. They'll come up with all these lies, these smear campaigns, and they'll double down. They will indeed. Anything at all costs to avoid accountability. That's what they're going to do. I can tell you what they're going to do. And so it's just one of those things. You have to go into your every movement and recognize that because of everything that's happened throughout the generations and how my parents were raised and their parents and this and that, based off the psyop that we've all been walking through in this matrix, you're going to run into events like this where you have generational curses. And it's up to you to break them, or you can continue it on. You can continue it on your bloodline. That is a free will. That is a choice, or you can choose to break it. And you can choose not to allow things that are done in a sometimes intentional and unintentional way to hurt you. You can go in, you can reflect, and you can process it. But if people are going to throw out bold statements, they have to be able to come with receipts. Receipts. Okay, I'm a disappointment. Why? Why? Because I got a few receipts and I provided those in reference to my storyline. You know what I mean? And so it's one of those things, it's like, you just have to be bold in who you are and know what you carry. And be willing to take the heat in the conversations and own it. Own your truth and whatever it is. How do you kill kids when you have kids? Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. BB has a kid. Trump has kids. Benny Boy that I used to work with have kids. I mean, these people have kids. Okay? But yet they're choosing to inflict pain and war and taking families out, including children. Like, they took it upon themselves to create havoc in my life creatively, and doing the most heinous activities between me and my son intentionally. But they all have kids. And so I asked myself, why would they think that in some way, shape, or form, that's not going to whip around and nip them in the butt? Why? Why would they? That is an ignorant thing to think. It's an oxymoron. Do unto others as you do to them. You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. Karma. I mean, all these things. You reap what you sow, and you do it in various different ways. And see, because they create these offspring and they create the mentality in these children, and they already have a generational abundance, generational money, generational wealth, right? They think that they're off limits. They're off limits and nobody can touch them. And you see, that's not the case. You can see that in the precipice right now. And why do you think God's unveiling that too? Because it has to be unveiled. The mask and the veiling has to be removed at this point. And so it's one of those things you have to ask yourself, if people are doing or a part of whatever, and it's towards children, but yet they have children, you have to ask yourself why. Where are they at in the mind frame for that type of behavior, that type of actions? That's what tripped me out when I started to wake up to certain things and I recognize the ploy and the antics and the illusions. And I'm thinking in my head, I know these people have kids. I know these people have kids. And I know they claim to be godly, God-fearing people. And so I'm like, what? What kind of God are you worshiping? That's what trips me out. That's what trips me out. Because I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any logical sense. I can't wrap my head around it, other than people are moving and operating against their soul. You know, my girlfriend that I went to the beach today, she said something so profound. It was beautiful. I was like, dang, that's so true. She said, you know, throughout her life, there's times where she connected with her soul and then she lost her soul, and then she reconnected with her soul and she lost her soul based off the circumstances of life, choices she had, you know, based off it. And I was like, dang, I feel that. I feel that because I feel like throughout my 41 years, there's been monumental times where I've had to fight the grind just to make a living and do what they say I have to do to be someone. But when you do what they say, you sometimes lose sight of your soul, because what they do is against your soul. It's against universal laws of good and evil. It's against universal laws of just doing what's right and treating people fairly. And I just, not even to mention, we live in a world now with just so many broken people, and we're all broken in our own way, but we all have the choice to go in, reflect, change, repent, and truly repent and change. You know, so often enough, I think people repent and then they go back out into the world and they do the same thing. And it's like, how do you think that's truly repenting if you're just doing the same thing? I mean, I give Trump, at least he's like, I don't think I'm making it to heaven. Trump's like, I don't think I'm making it there. He's accepted it. So I give him kudos on that. I mean, he put it out there too. That's bold. And so I mean, you give credit where credit's due, and you pick your battles. And right now, this battle is so big, it's beyond the ramifications of like the average, you know, 9-to-5er, the middle class, poverty to fight. We're going to have to come together, you know, and quit being divided and thinking that it's right or left, liberal, this or no. It's not that. I mean, Candid said it perfectly. It's good versus evil. It just is. There's no other way to shape that. And so I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. This is going to be my only video. We'll see if they post. But I love you guys.